Yeah, I mean, I think for us on offense, it clearly starts with, that right side of our offensive line right now with Alex Atcap and Scarley. They're just two positive guys that love football, that do it our way. And you talk about the leadership qualities and some of that stuff. They have that. Clearly, as far as seniors go for us on that side of the ball too, being able to add Mike Kirch was great for us. And, I'm hoping he can get ready to go for us here this Saturday. He's battling a little bit of a knee, and I know he's in a battle for us, and he'll give us everything he's got on Saturday. But some of those guys, defensively, it starts with, Wendell and Bryce, two team captains for us on the defensive side of the ball that have been awesome for us as well there. And again, we're not a super old team. We really don't have a ton of seniors walking on Saturday, and so. But that core of guys, kind of just a few of them that I just mentioned, have been awesome for us and help build this foundation of what I'm trying to build here and where this football program's heading in the future.
One of the things you said at the very beginning is, actually it might have been your introductory press conference, is that our best players will be on the field. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that I fully understand what you meant by that, but just saying Easton Messer, and we'll talk to him in a little bit, he's done a little bit of everything for you guys. Do you figure out who has what skill sets, and then when you're watching game film, we can plug him in here, we can do this here? Or how does that fall into place?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to play your best players, in the quote you're probably thinking of, I was primarily talking about special teams there. But again, special teams is a massive phase, and we've made huge strides this year in special teams, and that's because we have our best players, starters on both sides of offense and defense, playing special teams for us. You see what Jay Sean Platt's doing as far as the receiver goes. Well, he's also doing a great job in the kick return. You're seeing what Easton Messer's doing, running the football, throwing the football, catching the football, punt returns. So those guys, again, you want to try to get your best guys on the field. And then as far as finding everybody's skill set, I think that's what my job is, right? I've got to find who's my best guys at doing this, and this. And maybe it's not necessarily that they're bad at it, but maybe someone's better. And so you want to make sure that you're, as a coach, I'm putting my guys in the best situations to be successful. If you're, I always tell our guys, use your weapon. And that's, if you're a really, really fast guy, you're a speed guy, speed's your weapon. So use that. That's your strength, that's your superpower, if you will. If you're big and physical, be big, be physical, use your physicality. That's your strength, that's your weapon that you need to use. And so it's my job, as you go through everything, you go through football school in the spring, and then you go through spring ball, and then you're starting to go through fall camp. You got to really, as us coaches, we got to find what are our guys really, really good at, and we got to find those situations to put them in and put them in those situations. But Easton's just a guy that he can literally do it all. I mean, I knew he could throw, I know he can catch, he can run the when he's got the ball in his hands. It's kind of weird, he actually did it punt return for Western last year, but he kick returned. And that was something that I knew. I told Coach Stubenek as soon as he signed with us, I said, that's going to be our punt return. Mm-hmm. And it's just stuff like that you just see with how they play and how they approach the game. And especially like at a punt return situation, you got to have a guy you really trust back there. And he's been that guy for us all year.
Finally, for me, is East Carolina. They come in having a tremendous year. They used to be a powerhouse for our conference. What do you see out of their team, and what is your biggest keys to victory for going in this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, unless I've read it wrong, they're the number one defense in our league right now as far as points per game goes. They're doing just a tremendous job defensively. And, Coach Harrell was the defensive coordinator there last year, got the interim job, strung off all those great wins, and he got the full-time gig there. And he's been fantastic. I got a ton of respect for him and what he does defensively. They mix it up a lot on defense, and I think that's what's been really good for them. Just the multiplicity that they play with. It can really stress you out on the offensive side of the ball if you don't know where they're at and where they're going to end up. Kind of like we saw last week with UConn. And so we've just got to make sure that we get the ball out quick, we're not back there patting the ball, and we're able to run the football a little bit on them. Special teams wise, it's kind of funny. I'm pretty sure Coach Harrell kind of took over that special teams a little bit too, and so now he's got his fingerprint on that special teams. They do a really, really good job there. They're aggressive. They faked a field goal earlier this year that ran in for a touchdown from about 20-25 out. They faked a couple punts this year, so they're aggressive on special teams. We've got to be prepared there. And then defensively, you're actually going to see a lot of similarities to our offense. Now, they won't play as fast as we play with all the tempo as we do, but you'll see a lot of similar formations and run schemes and vertical pass game and Y cross and throwing the now screens out there, getting the ball in the quarterback's hands, or some tempo run game and stuff like that. So a lot of similarities there. Biggest keys to victory for us is, defensively, we got to tackle better. We have to get the ball down, and when we have those guys one-on-one, we got to tackle them. And I think that's where UTSA this past week did a fantastic job in the open field of getting the ball carrier of ECU down. And that's going to be there. Clearly, we've got to try to take the ball away on defense too and limit those explosives. On offense, we got to play with tempo. That's been our weapon, if you will, this year is wearing people down and letting them not get lined up to where Caden can go out there and see the field and attack grass. So we got to play with tempo. We got to protect the ball again. That's just been a really bad area for us this year. We got to try to clean that up, and we've got to create the explosives. Like we did this last week. I thought we did a great job of having a ton of explosive plays and getting us some big chunk yardage. And then lastly, on special teams, again, our best players got to make plays for us, and we got to play fast and physical there. So put all that together. Again, I feel like if we can do those things, we'll take these seniors, out of here the right way.
Rick?
All right, I got a few. Couple quick hits. Anybody come to mind offensively for a team MVP at this point? Unofficially, just people that stick out.
I mean, it'd be Easton Messer or Cade Belkamp. One of them two.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Defensively?
Man, Leon Hart, CJ Doggett, probably one of those two guys off the top.
Off the top?
Yeah.
Okay. Recruiting.
Yep.
I know that we can't go in depth on some guys, but the gift that Coach Simmons tried to lift initially, all in good fun,
Yep.
that you send out with your boom.
Yep.
A couple of those went out this week, and I know you guys got some guys that are rolling through
Yep.
over the next probably 2 weeks as we get towards the signing day. Of the ones that you brought in so far, just high level,
Yep.
what are your thoughts? Where are you at in plan, I guess, kind of? Can you just expound on how happy are you with your class, and then, how do you see it overall?
Yeah, we've been building this class now for a long time. We've got several high school kids committed that we're excited about. Added another one just recently, and we're gonna. You mentioned we got quite a few more guys that are going to be in the building these next 5 days or so. Even over this Thanksgiving break, because they changed the recruiting calendar this year. So as soon as it gets to December, we can't recruit anymore. It goes completely dead, and so we're trying to do our best job of getting a core nucleus of class to be ready to sign next Wednesday morning on National Signing Day, that first one, and that's coming from junior college transfers and your high school kids. That's what we're looking for right now. Got a ton of guys actually on campus right now that we're excited about too. So again, the biggest thing I'm trying to build here is we're trying to find guys that want to be here, number one. I've said that a ton, but that's a huge priority, number one for me. You got to want to love this place and love everything about it. You got to love how we're going to operate here. You got to love the process that I'm going to make you fall in love with here. And if that's not who you are, I'm going to love you still too, but you got to go somewhere else. And that's what we're talking about here. And I think of the guys we have committed, they are our kind of guys. They want to be a family. They want to have energy in this building and have the fun that we're going to have here. They want to work at it, and they want to compete with toughness like we're asking them to do. And that's, from the grand scheme of things, that's really what we're trying to build. But it starts with them as people first. What's their character? Do they love football? Are they going to fall in love with the process? And I'm on them every day about hydration and eating the right calories and weighing in and going to class and going to tutoring and going to prehab, going to rehab, taking care of your body, because those are the things that I harp on. And if you're not going to take those things seriously here, this is going to be a tough place for you to play. And so it starts with that character analysis, making sure they're guys that want to do all those things that we're going to ask them to do, and they don't just do it because I'm asking them. They do it because they understand that's how we're going to be a better football team. And it's about being a pro. And my guy just walked in the back here, Easton. I mean, he is like the epitome of a professional, and what we're trying to do as far as taking care of your body, understand the hydration, the calorie intake, handling his stuff academically, all those things. And so that's what we're trying to build here. And as far as the nucleus goes, I'm hoping you're going to see a lot more booms coming out here in the next few days.
So as far as if you had to say on your plan, because every coach has a plan, a developmental plan, you came and you had some things you had to change and you have some things that you have to build. On a scale of 1 to 10, well, let me not I'm not gonna use a number. Are you ahead? Are you where you thought you'd be? Or are you behind?
You know what, I'll be honest, I feel right now with the guys that I've talked to that are currently on this team, because it's all about building a roster, right?
Right.
I feel like of all the guys I've talked to that are giving me their word that they're coming back to play football here next year, I feel like we're ahead, because I think you're gonna look up and you're gonna have a ton of key contributors on this year's football team come back next year. And I think that's the biggest thing that we're looking for. So I'd say we're ahead. Now again, I'm not naive. It's this world of college football we're living in, things can change quickly. But again, I feel really good about it. I feel like we've got great dudes in this locker room that, again, all I've ever asked for them, and I've been the same to them, is just honesty and be upfront with me. And again, I got to trust their word on the things that they say. And if we end up where I think we're going to end up, look out next year. I feel really, really good about it.
And then the coattail question off that, based upon your answer, is that lightens the load a little bit on the portal, no?
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, my
Where do
big
you
thing
put the
is-
resources then if you don't go to the portal? Do you go more high school or?
I mean, it's going to be some of both. You know, I think this year's coaching carousel is really crazy already. It's wild. And so with that, I do believe there's going to be some really good high school kids that get dropped that may be looking for a new home. And we've already got our eye on a few of those guys as well that are in those scenarios. And you just never know, you know, what kind of head coach is going to walk into these new situations. Are they going to keep you? Are they going to drop you? And it happens so fast for those guys. You know what I mean? And so we'll see what it looks like. I mean, we're definitely going to go get some guys in the portal, absolutely. Again, our goal is to not lose a lot in the portal, absolutely, because that's where it starts, is retention. But yeah, we'll go get some more high school guys probably, and we'll dabble in the portal as well.
Okay.